This is about, let's see. Already this video is starting great. So someone asked the question, people argue about Bernie. Bernie, this is for you. This is for everybody. I should stop starting videos like this. I have videos on my YouTube channel that start with like, oh, this is for person that no one watches the video, has fucking heard of or cares about. So this is going to be about why your question may not be great. You're saying that, well, SKAGs work for me. And if you're saying that, that means that you don't understand. You shouldn't just do things because you've heard of them. Like, oh, I've heard of SKAGs. That's a neat little a collection of, that's a neat little acronym, right? And I don't know. Like, the reason that it's so ubiquitous in PPC, I think, is just because it makes people sound smart. At the end of the day, if your boss says, oh, what have you been doing? It's like, oh, I SKAG'd. Look at all this work I did. Look at all these ad groups. Look at all these ads. And the reason that people get pissed off whenever someone says, should I SKAG or anything about it, is that people do it for the wrong reasons. So if you don't understand why you do it, then you're going to end up with something that, if someone that actually knows what they're doing looks at your builds, they're going to go like, this person doesn't know what they're doing. They're a fucking idiot. So I've seen SKAG builds where, the individual ad groups for phrase types, actual SKAGs, right? So Ed posted the thing, right? Oh, where is it? This, right? So this in that ad group and separate ad groups for everything. But they have the same ad creative in every ad group. The reason that you are SKAGing is so that you can, it's a way to brute force ad relevance. So you're forcing yourself to write a specific ad creative for each ad group. So it's a way to maximize the relevance of your ads to the point that Ed made before I could make it. Don't just, it doesn't make any sense to do it the way that most people are going to approach it. The Pareto principle applies here. That's the 80-20 rule. So in general, you should be building your ad groups and grouping keywords together based on closed themes. That's what Google tells you to do, and that's good for new account managers to learn, because it forces you to think about campaigns and ad groups and builds in a conceptual way. Like, what customers am I targeting with these specific ad groups? Does someone, if you're just keyword stuffing, that can be a reason to show different people different things, like, I don't know, roofing company versus roofing contractor or something like that. You're going to want to use contractor over company if that's what the specific keyword, or in the ad copy if that's what someone actually typed into Google. But generally speaking, you're going to want to crack out your high performers, even if it's volume, if it's hopefully conversion volume and return on ad spend, and maximizing your effort where it's going to make maximizing your effort where it's going to make the biggest amount of difference. So if you open your account, you sort by keyword volume. I'm sure 20% of your keywords are worth 80% of your volume, if not more than that. There's usually a handful of keywords that are responsible for a huge chunk of your volume. What is a better way to approach campaign management? And there are detractors to this that are dum-dums. Instead of brute forcing ad relevance on every single ad group, it is better for you to crack out your high performers into their specific campaigns. So if you have a keyword that converts particularly well, or that may not have the highest volume, that's another thing. Like, people get hung up on the whole 80-20 rule, thinking that volume is like a better, or a metric that is something that they need to work on. They confuse volume with goodness, right? Just because a keyword is low volume doesn't mean that it's not better than another keyword. Point being, instead of worrying about brute forcing ad relevance, you should make sure your campaigns have a component of budget priority. So you have your keywords that are your high performers based on conversion rates and ROI, and you segment those into their own campaigns, and you tell Google, like, I want to spend money on these keywords and max spend on these keywords first, and then you sort of waterfall out your builds so that your highest performing keywords get the maximum amount of the budget possible, all the way down to the keywords that you have for volume or something like that, if you want to call them prospecting keywords. This is only going to be applicable if you are working in accounts that have budget constraints. It's less important if your accounts do not have budget constraints. And there are a bunch of different ways to approach this. Your next question, like the people that ask, should I SKAG, will inevitably come back and talk about the second darling, which is alpha beta campaigns. If you don't understand why you're doing alpha beta campaigns, then you're fucked. The same way that asking, should I SKAG, belies a misunderstanding. It's, SKAG is a way to brute force ad relevance. And so if you just do it for the sake of doing it, you're going to end up doing something dumb. Like just using the same ad copy in 10,000 ad groups. The alpha beta campaign structure is the similar way, except you're forcing yourself to structure in a way that adds a component of budget priority to your account, which is going to be another conversation entirely. But all right, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say. This is a topic as tired as time. And if you want to read, this guy's good. Andrew knows what he's talking about. And if you want to hear his more intelligent and coherent argument for SKAGs, you should read his little blog post here. He's put it. He's not concise, right? This is a really long article, but he will put this in he will add some specificity to my. SKAGs are just a way to brute force ad relevance. So and the differences where most people are going to say, well, you can get 99% of the way there by doing something like only getting high performers and stuff like that. But blah, blah, blah. Shut up. I'm going to start repeating myself. So check out this. I'll give you a link to this if I didn't already. And then you should be on your way. All right. Bye-bye.